Hello again, everybody. This is going to be a real short video. This video we're going to take a look at all the different files that make up your Oracle database. If you're doing a cold backup, one of the things that you have to do is shut down your database, back up all the files that make up your Oracle instance, start up the database again. Then you have your cold backup. Determining what files you need to back up can be a little tricky. If you've placed everything in the same directory, obviously that makes it a lot easier. You just back up that directory. But in the event that you haven't, you need to go out and figure out all the different files you need to back up and the different queries that you can use to back up those different files. So, what are the types of files that make up an Oracle database? Well, obviously you got your data files, right? That's going to be the most common one that everybody thinks of. But there's a lot of other files that go along with them. There's some temporary files. There are files that are absolutely essential to your database called control files. And these are real small files, but trying to recover a database after you've lost a control file is really a pain in the neck. So making sure that you have those guys backed up on a regular basis is absolutely essential. We have online redo log files. And again, these aren't necessary to back up. But again, they're so small, it's not going to hurt anything if you need to recreate them for whatever reason. And then finally, the parameter that you use to start up the file that you use to start up your database, which is called a SP file, system parameter file. Again, unbelievably small compared to the data and the temporary files that are out there. So you don't have to back it up as part of your cold backup strategy, but you'd be crazy not to. So small, right? This is, let's put a size category here. Data is large, temporary files are large, control files are small, online redo log files are small, SP files are small. So again, not absolutely essential to back up, but you'd be crazy not to. What are the queries to figure out what's going on and looking at all the different files that are on your system? So let's go back into SQL Developer and let's take a look at the queries that you're going to need to determine all of the different files that are out there. First one is going to look at your data files, right? This one is pretty easy. I'm going to actually copy this from another text file that I have up here so I don't mistype anything. Select file name from DBA data files. You obviously need to have DBA privileges in your database to run this query, but this will show you all the different files that are out there. So I execute this guy and you can see there's a lot of files that are part of my instance here because I use this sandbox database for a whole bunch of different demos. I scroll down, you can see I have 73 files altogether that make up the data files on my instance. It's not the only ones, right? We also have these temporary files that are out there. So I'm going to put this guy below him. And I'm going to execute my temporary files. And I don't have as many. I only have 14. I had 73 data files. But I got to remember, I got to grab all those guys too, because those make up my database. And if I should miss them, do a cold backup, try to restore my database for whatever reason, I'm not going to be able to do it if I'm missing files. So what's the next thing we want to grab? We want to grab the control files. Real simple query here to show you the control files that are on your system. Go out and execute. Whoops. Go out and execute. Whoops, what's going on here? Execute that bad boy, and you can see that I have two control files on my system. When you set up your database, always multiplex your control files. They're unbelievably small. And like I said, trying to recover a database after you've lost your control files is really a pain in the neck. Making sure that you have good copies of those guys will make your life a heck of a lot easier. Our online redo log files are the information for those guys are maintained in a view called vlog file. So if I go down here, paste that guy in, and instead of selecting, you can see I selected name from $VDollar control file. I'm selecting member from $VDollar log file. That gives me my online redo logs. Again, really small. No excuse not to grab them. If I want to see what my system parameter file is, I can grab that from a real simple query. And I'm going against $VDollar parameter. And inside my $VDollar parameter, the view, the SP file, the location of the SP file that was used to start up my database is stored there. So again, if I execute that guy, I can see that's my information there. Again, these last three aren't absolutely essential as part of your cold backup, but they're such small files, you'd be crazy not to do that. What you can do also, instead of running these 5 different queries, you can union all of these guys together. So if I take away the semicolon at the end, and as long as they're all of the same data type, which in this case they're all varchars, I can union all of these guys together. Make it one big statement there. And instead of having to run 5 different statements, I'll just run that one statement, and it'll pull back all of the files that make up what I need to back up as part of my backup. So you can see that I have 93 altogether. So I had the 73 from the data files. I think there was like 16 temporary files, a couple of control files here. There's my SP file. So I can turn this into a real nice, easy query. So when it comes time for me to actually back up the data file, all of the files that make up my instance, I can have them here in one simple query. But that's a real short example of just showing you all the different data files that make up all of the different files, I should say, I keep saying data files, all of the different files that make up your Oracle database instance.